What's up, dudes? HW here. How are you? How are you doing today? It's a beautiful morning over in Nashville, sipping on some coffee, playing my new Charvel. That was pretty good. That was a good lyric off the fly there. You know what I'm saying? That's a country song I'm working on for guitar players who play Charvels and drink coffee in Nashville. HW, are you lying to us? A little bit. You might spy on my watch. It's actually 1:09 in the afternoon. It's not a morning, but it's got like morning vibes. You know what I mean? Kind of like morning vibes. You know, I skipped breakfast, so my first meal was lunch. So this kind of have morning vibes. You know what I mean? Why not? Guys, I want to talk to you about something. You saw the title of the video. Why does no one care about these Agoura Amp Models? Let me preface this statement. I am super, super duper excited for this new Helix Stadium. I went out and pre-ordered it right away. I am planning to fly to the Line 6 headquarters on like Agoura Street or whatever, and just follow someone with a key card in and steal one and run away and do some first look videos on it. No, I'm not going to do that. The thing I do notice, though, there's something interesting going on in the community that I've not seen happen for the release of any modeler prior to this. It's a very unique thing. It's subtle, but I think it really tells us something about the digital amp market at this point, okay? It is this. There's a new unit coming out. It has brand new models, and I see so few people talking about it online. Meaning, when a new Helix comes out, or when a new Axe Effects unit has come out, it's always, oh, it's so much more breathable. Oh my gosh, it's so much more lifelike. It's so much, you can't tell the difference. It's Cliff has nailed it. It's all this stuff. The community completely like abandons the old in terms of the new. I'm not really seeing that. What I'm actually seeing is, in the Helix world, there seems to be a lot more excitement about a lot of these new features. Now, there are some really incredible features. The team at Line 6 seem to have really gotten behind this notion of maybe not the traditional thing, which is how do I give the user more options, but how do I get the user to be able to use the unit more intuitively? And I think you see that when you are able to do these multi-adjustments to the sound, more chime or more growl on an AC30, and there's multiple parameter adjustments going on at one time. I really praise them for that, because that's something I've been saying for a long time, is like a lot of the engineers behind these digital units we use, they have taken, in many cases, a very strict approach to copying analog, but digital gives you so many more options to do things that are actually just difficult to do in the analog world, or else they might have been designed into amps. And so I really applaud them for multiple parameter changes and using words, adjectives to describe sound, because that's so much of what the community does, because the community largely lives on the internet. And so we're exchanging words and phrases about tone. And I heard someone say, check out this chewy sound. And I wouldn't even describe that as chewy. I don't even know what chewy sounds like. Chewy Gomez from 106 KMEL? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, I think I'm noticing something that I have not seen before. Quad Cortex really boasted a lot of its features when it came out. Oh, it looks good. It's sleek. There's no knobs. You know, the knobs are the foot switches. It's touch screen and this capture technology. And a lot of people were like, wow, but how does it sound? Oh my gosh, it sounds so good. It's this and that. It's so much better than other stuff. But what I'm noticing with the Helix is the user base as a whole, I'm not seeing this huge Agoura Amp Models. Agoura Amp Models, they're so much better. They're a million times better. They're just the best thing ever. They're so much more lifelike. Nobody's abandoning the old and going to the new. And I think it's really telling us something about the amp market, where whether it's Helix or Kemper or Tonex or Quad Cortex or NAMM, Ampero, Headrush, all of these capture devices and tech, the GP200, Vailton, anything, GP5, we're getting to the point that people are no longer demanding higher levels of accuracy, because if you're on the unit and you're playing it, you're probably convinced it sounds good already. So no longer is the value proposition sound like an amp. That becomes the high school diploma of the digital world. You better have this if you want a job at all. You have to have the high school. You better have that high school diploma or GED, or you're going to be on the street. You got to have that if you're going to go work at any entry-level job. Then we're going to talk about what skills do you have, what degrees, what postgraduate degrees, what graduate degrees have you got, what postgraduate, what collegiate level degrees have you got. You know what I mean? It's assumed you have these other things. It's almost like you got to have that to even be in the game. And so now I think we're looking at this moment when we've got all these capture devices and technologies out there. And we see some of them being improved, and we see some of them not being touched at all, and we see them still really holding up in a mix, holding up when it comes to YouTube videos. I get comments all the time, wow, what tone is that? And I go, it's a Kemper. And people are like, whoa, what? I thought those didn't sound like the amp. And it's like, no, they have always, they do. The new thing sounds also, more like an amp, I get, you know what I mean? But they all sound like amps. So it's becoming harder and harder to improve these levels of accuracy to the point that, the whole world, or there's other corners of the internet, like if you go turn on Leo Gibson's channel, it's like, let's do a null test of everything. And while that is from a technical perspective, like kind of an impressive thing to watch and something I appreciate that it exists but really I just want to look at a chart of what's the most accurate, the least accurate. But also like when you look at that chart, there's no bench line for like, here's the level where you convince, 98% of people. And the thing is, we're all well past that, especially in the genres of music where you start turning on a ton of delay and reverb. I've long said that accuracy matters least to worship guitar players, because if you run your delay in your mix at 50%, well, half your sound is the delay in the mix algorithm, the delay in the reverb algorithm. Half your sound is the cloud, not the AC30. You know what I mean? Brian May played an AC30. He doesn't sound like David Hislop, Nigel Headroff, whatever. You know what I mean? So there's that kind of thing going on. But what I really notice is with this new Agoura thing, I'm excited for a lot of the features. I'm not sitting here going like, finally, they're going to give us more accurate models of the Litigator. I know Litigator is one of my favorite amps. I'm not even asking anybody to make it better. I love the Plexi Bright channel in the Helix. I love the channel 1 matches is obviously great. One of the real sleepers is that Route 66 one that's in there. What's it called in the Helix? I can't remember, but anyway, the Z. Anyway, it's the Route 66 amp from Dr. Z that's in there. That's one of the all-time sleepers in the Helix, if you ask me. And so I'm not sitting here like, give me better, give me more. I'm like, this sounds great. I tone match stuff to it, and I can get the Helix to sound like this. Like this is the sound of the Dumble Master amp. It just sounds like the thing, you know what I mean? I've got it really low volume because I'm like going through some monitors and my 2-year-old fell asleep upstairs. Anyway, I think at this point, watching this Helix reception, it's like I'm way more excited about the capture tech and the touch screen and just kind of the, just the new form factor. And I'm actually really excited too about a lot of these platforms now have developed long track records of ongoing support. And I think one thing that has been holding the Helix back in terms of new stuff they can make for it, I'm sure it's not the case that they can't make more reverb algorithms for the Helix. But what I would imagine is as an engineer at Line 6, you're really disincentivized to come out with the very, very best sounding reverb you could possibly make if it eats up too much DSP. Because you don't want to deliver to the community the absolute like big sky cloud killer or something, like an even better, even bigger engine, whatever. And then when they try to drag it into all their pre-existing stuff, it doesn't work, right? You don't want to tell the user, you can use this reverb, but now you can only use half as many effects when you use it because it's heavy, right? So what that tells me is, or what I'm just guessing is, now we're going to get, because all the effects in the new Stadium are the same at launch, as the old effects. There's probably going to be new effects that can come out that they're going to design for both units. But we may see some effects that just come out for the new Helix, the Stadium, that are maybe a little more DSP heavy. And maybe they're going to say, hey, here's 5 new effects, right? Here's 2 more that are just for the Stadium only, right? Because they're just a little heavier. Or maybe they'll put them out for the old one too. But at least they'll have a solution for when users say, well, I want to use that new reverb, but it eats up too much DSP. Like, what's the point of having it? At least now they'll be able to say, hey, it's an option. The other ones sound just as good. All the legacy stuff sounds good. The new stuff sounds good. But if you do want it, there's another level to get to now. There's another platform that has more DSP as an option if you're a user who wants that. If not, enjoy the new thing we built. Right now, it would kind of just break everyone's presets with no option to solve that problem. That's just a guess I have, that I think we're going to see new stuff come out that's either going to be exclusive to the Stadium, or there might be a little warning that's like, hey, warning, this is going to eat up a good amount of your legacy or traditional Helix DSP. If you're good with that, cool. If not, maybe here's a lower resolution to run it at or something. I don't know what they're going to do. But what I think is we're probably going to see the floodgates open to new effects, updates, and stuff. I would imagine in the first year, they just go to town with new update effects, new firmware fix things, as you kind of do. But I bet in this first year and a half, we're going to see some I bet at the 1 year anniversary we're going to see of this Helix Stadium, we're going to see significant expansion of whatever they've already given us. You know what I'm saying? And maybe before that, but I'm just saying in this time frame of like getting it all out there, it's on the market, it's going, firmware, fixing update. There's always bugs that you got to fix, user feedback, hey, let's do this. Then we're probably going to see some new stuff come out that we're just going to be going, wow, this is the best verb, the best delay, the best this in the unit. It wasn't even here at launch. Because that's kind of what has happened with the regular Helix. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, because I wonder how much stuff they may have built that's just DSP restrictive right now. And it won't be when you have the option to go up. And stuff like that to me is just more exciting. The hype knob, the capture tech is more exciting. I think as a whole, the community has not been sitting here going like, man, if we could just get 18% more accuracy, like I would just love my Helix. I don't think that's what anyone's been saying. So because of that, it's like the new Agoura Amp models are we're gonna you hear some clips and it's like, sounds good. But I haven't heard the community go like, I love the Helix, but I've been dying for more accurate models. You know what I mean? It just seems why is it significant? It tells me about the total market here that like I said, we're past the point. We're at the point of like mass adoption. And it's funny, I made a couple video. There's some videos that are really big on my channel called Modeling is Dead, and it's where I basically said, or modeling has peaked. I made a couple different variations of the video, but it's where I basically said capture tech's going to come in and take over, because users can create captures far more cost effectively and more accurately, or with a wider breadth than engineers just sitting there. And now we see Helix is going to be training everything on the cloud to get our training data, so they can just spit out from our training data and everything the absolute best amalgamation of a Marshall you've ever heard, with all the characteristics, and a knob that takes it from a 74 from a 68 purple plexi all the way to a 71 JM P all the way over to this, and then you know what I mean? Like they're going to have all the training data from everything we send up there. They're going to have all of the know-how, and we're going to see the accuracy improve over time. That's really the thing that's going to be the most impressive, where units like the Kemper and the Quad Cortex, or anything that trains locally, doesn't train on the computer, you're not going to be able to. You could with a firmware update, actually make the training. Or you could make the capture tech more accurate. You could do that with a firmware update. But you're going to be limited by the hardware. Us sending our files up to the cloud to be trained allows Helix Line 6 to update whatever GPUs they're using. Maybe they're going to start using 4090s. That seems to be very popular, to use just a bunch of 4090s on server rack somewhere. And then maybe those will get updated eventually to the 5090s and the 6090s, so that, it might be that the slowest training times we ever see are right at launch. And also, it's probably going to be that as server load goes up, those processors, those GPUs get more and more fast and advanced, and they're able to handle more and more training more quickly. So we see either the same times or lower times in a year from now or 2 years from now. So I guess what I'm saying is I think we're at the point with digital modelers where it's no longer about how do I get an amp sound. It's more about what interface. It's like the phones. It's like iPhone versus Android. It's like, are you a blue bubble guy, or are you a guy who wants to like do all the tinkering and like have multiple app stores and do this and, oh, well, I have lossless audio. And that's just not going to appeal to a lot of people. And so I think you're gonna have more of a split like that. It's like, what kind of person are you? It's like, I'm a, I don't know. You got those new Meta glasses. You got this. You got that. Or are you like trying to, make everything digital? Or are you trying? You know what I mean? And whatever's just intuitive and easy to use is maybe where some people are going to go, and what's more tinker friendly is where other people are going to go. And the sort of all the null tests are just eventually all going to kind of have this like mean reversion over time where it's like, that's not the right term. What I mean is they're all going to, the accuracy is all going to approach each other. Meaning you might have some more accurate, some less, but eventually they're going to start trending together because the ability to get a little bit more incrementally, quote unquote, accurate is worth less and less. Each 0.99999 of accuracy, it becomes worth nothing more to the consumer. And everybody just starts this sort of approaching zero trend in terms of accuracy, where zero is the the reference, and how close are you getting? How many is it 99% accurate? Yeah, okay, that's probably good enough. So what's the point of doing the 99.9, 99.99, 99.999? And it gets exponentially harder to keep adding those nines because every time you're sort of bringing your inaccuracy down by 90%. It's like you're getting an order of magnitude greater with less and less benefit, right? So it's a classic sort of like, it's the classic relationship there. Diminishing returns, So, where does that leave us? It really becomes about form. And that's kind of why I think this is going to be the new best-in-class unit, where I think the Quad Cortex is the best-in-class unit today. I think the new Stadium is going to be the best-in-class unit because at the end of the day, I think users are going to report, I could do everything I wanted, and it was easy to do it. It made sense to me. Get it? And I think that's really what the value proposition is now. I don't think it's, wow, my tone's never been better. I don't think that's really what people are after anymore. I really don't. I think everyone believes your tone could be amazing on this unit or that unit or this unit or that unit. Of course, there's always new people coming in the door. Of course, there's boomers, who are like, I go straight into my twin on 10 and I can play anything. This telly does metal, and it's like, all right, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, we get it. Interest rates were 15% when I bought my house. We get it. We know. We understand. We've heard it. We heard all that. We know. Okay? We're just here to talk about the Helix.